Hey, g'day guys, Sam here from T2P. Today is Thursday the 20th of August after the big move to the crypto market. Not much happening on stock market, so let's look at Bitcoin and what do we think of it. In my tweets, I did say I think the bottom is in for the time being and that was likely. This was a squeeze. I was saying on my Twitter account that this looked like a squeeze and it was going to go in two directions. And it was going to be, and I was really hoping, I was bullish. I was hoping that it came down here, fake out, and take out all that liquidity. It didn't do that. You would expect that. What it did was it took out this liquidity. So each time price came up, especially here, there was a lot of liquidity. It perpetuated the move to the upside. So all the stop losses closed, meaning buying up. So that pushed it up to the next level. And then we took out that liquidity, and then it pushed it up more. Here we have confluence for a number of reasons. That is the anchored VWAP from the macro. This anchored VWAP comes from all the way down, all the way from there. Another pivot point, a key level. We had the other anchored VWAP coming across the bottom, so we used that as a reference, and we had confluence there. I was happy with that, and then we had some confluence there. Now we have a confluence there, so it makes sense that that is going to be the major resistance. However, in another chart, I will show you what's above. Give me a sec. It's annoying. So there we go. These anchored VWAPs, which is a volume-based price level. We had that last bit, Fibonacci. I did take a long from here. And now we're from here, and that is a question. The fact that we broke this key volume level, and you can see how I place my volume profile. We've got from the macro, or the big range since February. Point of control was there. It used that as a leverage. So once we regained it, it skyrocketed. And the liquidity hunts sort of push price up to that level. Here we have confluence with this value area high as well. So if you push that across, that's going to be a strong resistance. I'll place the Fibonacci from the low to the high, and I this is a undocumented process. I made that the main resistance, so I aligned it with the golden ratio. Funny enough, Fib extension 1 was perfectly there as well. It just missed out a bit. So you can tweak that a bit and you can make it work. Now this is on the Binance chart. Where from here, it is difficult to say from this chart, but that looks like a reversal. That can do that and continue on. My guess is that we consolidate here. Ideally, if price was to come here, it shows a bit of weakness, but is a strong level to buy. And we might just hang around here for a while and so on. So we're going to range, in my opinion, for a while here. So there's no rush to jump in. If we were to consolidate more on the upper side like that, then we probably have a bigger chance going up. So if this was to stay around this quadrant for a while, just up and down, then that is the target. That is the resistance there, previous support, and that is the value high. Working weak, and then look for a short, and so on. The fact that we spent a while here and we cut through it very easily, but we stopped. And that's the point. We stopped, and we just got to see what happens here. Other than that, there is no trade, really. Ideally, you want it to come back down here, which is a sign of weakness, and then it could probably come back down. So you could still take that trade, but it's a hedging against the shorts if you're going to do it. Anyway, that's from that perspective. Let's look at another chart. This looks like on the macro, two bullish scenarios. We can look at it from an elliott wave count. That could be a wave 5 by all means, just by looking at that. This is also a structure that could be bullish. Let's see how we go with the middle. It does line up as well. So it does line up like a wedge. And right here, like we mentioned, that the trend line is confluent with the 200 daily EMA, which is a significant one, and the anchored VWAP. From here, that point. So that is a significant level. And what else do we have? Just above it, we have the value high as well. If you put the price from the high to the previous low, the 50% is also close to it. Depends how you do that, right? So I think we're still going to consolidate here. That's what I tweeted. I think we will look for a bit of a pullback to enter along. Right here, when you look at it from just visually, if we were to do this, you can sort of see that this level here has some congestion, so it might transfer across. It's a hard one because the line that we've got so far is very straight. There's no traffic, there's no delay, so it's very hard to say anything at this point. Let's have a closer look. My expectation is that it will still try to go higher, tap this, and then pull back, and then we'll see what happens after that. So it's still too early to say, but I think the bottom is in. I don't think price will come back down anymore. Not for a while. I think we're going to see price go up to the highs. Now, I think watching YouTube 5 hours ago, Trump talked about the Genius Act, cryptocurrency. Is that the initiator? Could be. I think that could be. It lines up with Trump's speech. So that could be a reason why everything went up. Otherwise, we would probably had a chance to get that trade coming down, ideal situation, and then up. So the Trump thing initiated that, and the liquidity pushed it up. Is it enough? That's the question. We don't know. Is it early? I think it's still too early for the bull run. I had it at October. So where is it? So we're still October. That's one from fib time. October is one that works out. We had the September one as well. So maybe we'll get there. So the value high is there. So I'm expecting that to be, even if we break out of this trend line, I still expect this value area high to be resistance. Now I've got two scenarios here. Let me talk about them. I think from this scenario, I'm still bullish, especially with that move. I can't see with the Trump announcement. I can't see this just dropping. I'm gonna leave but you can see the trend line in the middle too. That's amazing the way I just did that. So it really fits into that squeeze, right? So that squeeze pretty much put things up. Now we have this scenario. We have the big move down. This still could be a range, right? And it could be a flat range. And from that, if we ignore the wedge, we can still have all the way up here and then come back down and then take out the lows. Find the fifth wave. So the flat is a wave 3, complex wave correction, and then come back down. I don't know how that will happen, but that scenario is still there. I'm going to trade it all the way to the top and then make my decision from what I see from there. But could probably put a hedge to come to a short, and somewhere here, the bull market could keep going up, or we get this scenario here. Our Tether dominance, I'll be using this Tether dominance chart. Historically, this has helped me out a bit. Let's just show you quickly what I mean by that. If you align it with the Bitcoin prices, Tether really helps out. If you look at the pivots, at the bottoms of Tether, where it finds support, we find resistance for Bitcoin. Like you can see that resistance on Tether dominance comes down. We find this level as resistance, and that's the bottom for Bitcoin. Now, historically, if we look across, the bottom was here. Last bottom was here, which was 15K. Tether came up to there. This was a bottom as well. So we got a double top for Tether, and price came slowly down to find the top of the market for that period, and then so on. So if you look at it from that perspective, Tether dominance does a good job. And what we did was we counted this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It came back to this original level for Tether dominance. We got that, and we got a breakdown. Last time we had it here, from that horizontal level, it broke down, and you can see the pattern goes sideways for a long time with this flat correction that corresponds to Tether. And then once we start breaking down, so we get that level, we break down, and that's the bull market until it hits another key level. So Tether is a good indicator, and just right now, when we look at it from that perspective, you can see the horizontal level, we broke it, and we got this diagonal sloping trend line that's also broken, so it's bullish. And previous support was around here, so I'm thinking this is going to come down. Tether's going to come down to this anchored VWAP, previous support from a Tether perspective. So if we look at it from that perspective, if this is give it here, right? We've got two levels. So if Tether keeps coming down like that, then this is likely to find that range of ours we were speaking about, and then we get a bounce on Tether, and we get a rejection from Bitcoin. Here was a rejection for Bitcoin. So if Tether comes up to here, that could be another rejection. But I'm thinking it's still going to come like that. So that could be something like that. Those are my thoughts with this scenario. We keep an eye on that, and we keep an eye on Bitcoin. Let's see what else we got. Here we got the bigger charts. You can see this indicator. The weekly is going to close bullish. Bullish divergence. I did a post on this. This was a bullish divergence taking place. It's always been the case with the bottoms. Bullish divergence. And it's crossed over right there. This weekly closes, I think, is slowly. The question is how aggressive it's going to be. Here it was aggressive. So if we look back here, we had the bearish divergence. Bullish divergence there. And we had the bullish divergence with the indicator crossing over. So that crossover, if we do a vertical, that crossover corresponds to there. And we've got this crossover here, right there. So it's very similar. This one was a much stronger move, but you can see how that kept going for a few weeks and found that previous high. And we got a pullback. So it's too early to say we've done, because you need to break that level. And for me, that is a level. So we might just continue up based on the previous history, move back sideways, and that might just bring us to October, November. Who knows? But that is a scenario that I think is going to go play well. Then we got another layer right there, and just like here, for God's sake, we're going to be here for a while. It's not going to be like the early days of Bitcoin, and we might just go sideways here for a while before, bang, we go up. That is a potential fractal. The fractals play out. Here we got the levels. We just see how that happens. Falls. That was a strong resistance. So, guys, you haven't missed out. Be patient. From that perspective, we've got a long way to go. Yeah, where's another indicator I had? I'll use this one. RSI, the anchored VWAP, Fibonacci, it's all different. Here, the RSI is breaking out. So we want to see this continue up to be confident. You can see the 50, what's that one? That is the 30 weekly moving average, which is about the 200. Until we break that, we're not going anywhere. And you can see historically, that one there corresponds to this here. Pauses, just like that. So we might just pause on that as well. Here's our other chart on Binance. Take a note of this. The anchored VWAP goes above perfect resistance, right, for Binance. This is our custom tool. Very reactive RSI. Does it perfect on the weekly. Every turn on the bottom is a move to the upside. And this one has reached really high. So if you look at it from that perspective, it is at a level that can potentially find resistance. However, we're looking for moves to the upside like this. The lines are separated. So let's look on a smaller time frame with this indicator. And you can see how it's crossed over. Now it's paused. Really good indicator. You want to copy, let me know. Now, this is the Coinbase on the right. If we do our TA on this, look at this anchored VWAP. From there to there, it's pretty much support. If I was to just tweak it a bit there, it was perfect. So that's from a Coinbase. That's the bottom. Binance, not so. Binance is up here. And Bybit is different as well. So when you look at that, that's nice. That's probably the bottom. If you do the Fibonacci and say that is our level there, we don't get 0.5. Let's just do this. There you go. So that explains why we got support here a lot on the 0.618, and then price went up, and then we got the anchor V at 0.68. Now we've regained it. Now if we do this, doesn't make any difference. Well, it does actually. It's a 0.618. Damn it. There you go. For Coinbase, that is a good level. 618 with the anchored VWAP, fantastic. You couldn't ask for anything better. So that could be the bottom. And the fact that we got this strong move, like you can see how that works out. From that perspective, that Coinbase does a nice job. And then you see, from that perspective, we get resistance here, support there. There's a confluence with this Fibonacci to get that level. It's unorthodox, but that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It fits. Here, this was a much different scenario. That is a diagonal ending. So if you look at that, that's 1, 2. It's actually a bigger drop. That's a diagonal ending scenario. And SPX debacle, or FTX, sorry, that could have been like that could have been the case. Whoops, where we had that diagonal ending scenario. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the fifth one could have been there. FTX pushed it further down, but either way, that could have been the breakout if it was for FTX. I think that would have continued up. So you see how that bought some time, and there you go, price goes up. But that is much more long visually, and then diagonal ending scenario there. We don't get that here. People are expecting much lower, but this is a strong level. So let's just do this. Let's see if we can find any more confluence. I looked at it in the past. There you go. So that's for, yeah. So I was hoping it would come down a bit lower based on that, but no. But at this point, everything lines up. I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Please give me a like and share, and I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.